storm's pacing me, but this cave lip should hold. You hear that wall drip under the thunder?
Moss fixed the strap squeak. We're quiet again, finally.
But this widening drip creeps toward my charcoal grid.
Canvas escaped the drip, ledge holds, lines stay crisp. But that fresh boot print by the mouth worries me.
Boot prints owner passed. Boulder hide worked, crisis dodged, but my headlamp slides to 5% battery now.
Screen dimmed. 5% stretches further, workable for this push.
But the ceiling's starting to shed. Loose limestone threatens every...
Rivulet diverted, gutter holds, map surface stays mostly dry.
But the lightning lull shrinks to 5 minutes for travel.
Lightning lull confirmed. We're moving. Bearings match the charcoal arrow.
But that trail cam just blinked awake beside these ferns.
You catch the red...
Trail cam handled, lens kisses rock, decoy rubbing occupies memory.
But drone rotors build, pushing air through the fern tips.
Drone rotors fade, cave swallows them, arrow overlay finally completes.
But the green bead just snapped off my set.
Green bead recovered and rethreaded, charms back where it belongs.
Whistle countdown softened, map safe under the boulder lip.
But headlamp just kissed 1% battery, friends. You feel that gut dip when the icon blinks? We ration light or we lose the trail.
1% handled, lamp off, storm flashes carry our view.
But a fresh bear scent just braided into the airflow. You catch that musky edge riding the cold gust?
Bear scent diluted, jerky lure redirected curiosity to the mouth. But boot crunch is back, spacing measured and confident.
Boot crunch receding, chosen side tunnel matches the charcoal arrows.
But seep turned knee-deep, becoming rising water fast.
Rising water dodged, the map rides higher and stays readable.
But this side tunnel pinches hard into a nasty pebble choke. Pebble choke cleared. Shoulders scraped, but we're through in one piece.
But the left knuckle's split, there's fresh blood scent.
Scent muffled, clay and charcoal cap the knuckle bleed. But visibility tanked, okay, spare chem light buys 5 minutes. You see the greenish halo hugging my paws? 5 minutes is a loud clock when rocks move.
Chem light fading, 3 flare marks now locked to valley ridges. Whistle pressure answered, clamp on, both hands brace the cracked rib.
But shifting slabs just sealed the cave's only entrance.
Entrance sealed tight, resin smoke drifts up through the vent.
But sparks popped onto fur, flirting with a singe timer.
You smell that burnt tip in the store.
Singe timer crushed, moss sizzled but fur stays intact. But smoke funnel just lured drone rotors above the vents. You hear their insect buzz sniffing my chimney? Next time I'll mail my coordinates instead.
Drone rotors overhead, I rushed the migration lines onto stone. But red laser dots just crawled over the limestone wall. Laser dots dodged, map safe behind this limestone shelf pocket.
But what just remembers the rimble.
Flooding surge escaped. Ledge by keeps me breathing above current. But the satchel strap tore halfway, spilling tools across. Tools recovered, relay strap holds, nothing teetering off ledge.
But this charcoal map page just skated toward the surge.
Page has secured. Anchors it while edges dry.
But faint human radio chatter just filtered through a vent.
Decoy arrows laid, real migration lines stay hidden.
But the last chem light just died into full darkness.
Airflow found. Secondary vent chills my whiskers. Direction confirmed.
But the squeeze ahead demands I ditch the pan.
Pan sacrificed. Satchel and charcoal maps stay with me.
But there, snare wires glinting across the chute.
Snare wires disarmed, loops pinned back with a stick, safe. But this laminated permit shows numbers. Grid coordinates align. Charcoal bearings confirm the migration arrow.
But ATV engines just spun up.
Patrol timers tightening. Road cut buys distance without footprints.
But hear that woven hum.
Drone grid thinned. Slash shelter kept my heat signature messy.
But wind just yanked a map page corner down the slope.
You see that fluttering square? Corner recovered, same permit code stamp faint across the edge.
But the thunderfront just lunged. Call it a 10-minute window.
You feel that pressure drop knifing through the pines? All right, proof first, comfort later, friends. Window used. Triangulation fixed on ridges, lines finally agree.
But thunder squeezed our 10-minute window down to 3.
3-minute window obeyed, arrow points cleanly along the valley seam.
But ATV patrol lights just bloomed over the road spur.
You You see that sodium smear?
Patrol lights dodged, ditch turn, killed their clean line of sight.
But their glare just lit my drop laminated permit.
You catch that rectangle winking by the gravel lip?
Evidence hates staying pocketed when it rains.
Permit secured. Numbers match our charcoal grid exactly. But radio just kicked a Sector 9 countdown toward this cave line.
Countdown outrun. Migration arrow finished and readable. Proof locked.
But floodwater just sealed the alternate
Exit sealed behind. Proof page is safe on this higher shelf.
But air's going thin fast, lungs bargaining with limestone math.
Feel that hollow pull in every breath? Draft opened, air returns, breath stopped grabbing at my ribs. But that wedged boulder just groaned. Ceiling crack is waking up.
Ceiling crack quieted. Brace holds the ribs for now.
But this timber is a permit stake. Proof or safety?
Proof captured, permit code printed beside the migration arrow. But I'm wedging the stake. Roof wins this round. You hear, Rady?
We're out. Vent spat me into ferns. Lungs taste weather.
My thermal eyes just found my heat signature again.
You hear engines feathering somewhere on the logging road? Thermal eyes dulled. Creek mud flattens my heat pretty well.
But ATV lights are converging, tightening into a sweep timer.
Timer biting. Creek currents cooling me better than mud alone.
But that Roman spotlight just flashed off my green bead.
You saw that blink? Right there on the...
Glint killed, green bead tucked deep, no more accidental signals.
Bear diverted. Jerky bribe nudged it toward the noisy patrol.
But a flare just kissed needles into a creeping brush fire. You smell that hot resin under wet air?
Micro in. Immediate invoice, as usual.
Edges stamped. Mud smothered the brush fire before it climbed. But that smoke column just beckoned the drone straight back.
Drones vectored out. Culvert muffled my heat into background noise.
But current swells here, forcing me to crawl.
Rising water dodged. Great climb buys me breaths above surge.
But these metal bars grown loose, ready to collapse on my...
Bars braced. Satchel rescued. Map still dry and safe.
But this branch just cracked.
Splinters bound. Bark strips tie off the sting pretty well.
But bats just swirled from cracks, brushing past my head.
You hear that paper-thin flutter beating my...
Bats wheeled off, swarm cleared, satchel kept under my arm. But a ranger dog bark just threaded into this culvert mouth.
Culvert mouth problem eased. Jerky lure swims up the side pipe.
But I hear a leash jingle and boots splashing closer.
Leash jingle gone, debris blind kept me off the dog's nose.
But my palm bandage flashed a dangling fabric strip.
You saw that tag swing under the light?
Fabric strip handled. No more tag flapping for spotlights.
But a 2-minute surge is winding up this culvert.
Surge escaped, creek bank underfoot, and satchel still with me.
But the tin cup took a dent, loud enough to travel.
Tin silenced. Moss cradle kills the traveling ring nicely.
But someone chalked my migration arrow onto this boulder.
Chalk marks compared, my arrow shows ridge detail, there's mist.
But a poacher's trail cam just clicked my soaked first silhouette.
You hear that digital wink in the lightning?
Credit stolen, now face included.
Trail cam blinded. Mud smear should corrupt that memory card.
But branches snapped, figures advancing under these storm flashes.
Figures lost. Drainage cut broke their line of sight.
Satchel strap frayed again. Fibers dangling like fuse lines.
You hear the threads complain each step? Strap fibers tied. Satchels hanging together by grit and teeth.
But cedar just split. Fire climbed in spite of storm.
Blaze contained. Soaked moss strangled the fire before it spread.
But smoke column already triggered another drone vector over ridge.
Drone vector managed. Rock overhang and needles break my outline.
But a loudhailer just called 10 minutes to a ridge sweep. But there's a steel gate
Padlock yielded, permit stake lever did the hard work.
But the sweep timer just snapped down to 1 minute.
You feel the forest hold its breath with me?
1 minute respected. Proof pin beneath this ridge cairn.
But the ranger kiosk just lost power on the spur.
You saw those screens blink to black?
Backup plan moves to graphite and wood.
Kiosk replaced. Trail post carries arrows in the permit code.
But steel-toed boots are crunching closer along the gravel.
Boots bypassed. Logs shield me and keep the satchel tucked.
But flashlight beams now crawl along bark gaps toward my fur.
You see that glow licking through cracks?
Beams dodged. Mud stripes make my fur vanish against logs. But storm flashes just died.
Dark broken. Resin stub gives a pocket of glow.
But mirrored boot prints just circled the cairn outside. You see those wet impressions framing my proof?
Proof shielded, I backed into ferns with map tucked tight. But every step I take bleeds warmth into night.
Warmth lost, moss bed hugs me as map proof stays intact.
But a drone spotlight just ripped the dark wide open.
You see that white circle hunting my moss?
Proof stashed in the log. Pages dry and safe now.
But a second silent beam widens, sweeping ridge and rings.